very few people would deny that we have a massive and escalating mental health crisis in the UK. 11 million people, that is 1 in 6 of us, are struggling with stress, anxiety and depression in any one week. 75% of those people get no treatment whatsoever, and the waiting lists for mental health therapy are anything from 3 months to 24 months, depending on where you are in the country. And then on top of that, only 42% of people who actually undergo mental health therapy under the NHS actually complete their programs. Now, part of the problem is the fact that only 13% of the NHS budget is actually spent on mental health, even though the World Health Organization say that depression alone is the single biggest burden of disease in the world. But the problem is throwing more money at it is not the answer. If we were to reach the 8.25 million people who are struggling and not getting any help, we would have to increase the NHS budget for mental health by 15-fold. Politically, that's not going to happen. And yet the issue is every bit as big as the environment, but it's barely on government policy agenda at all. So the government, the medical establishment and actually the educational establishment are fundamentally letting us down because the system is completely flawed. Even though the original statistic, 1 in 4 of us are struggling in any one year, came from 1980. We've been aware that mental health is a massive problem since 1980 and nothing has changed in that time. And the problem is the system doesn't have an answer. Fortunately, there is an answer, and it's actually very simple and it's very cheap to roll out, and it would have an immediate impact, and that is mental wellness education. Most of us leave school without having a clue about how our emotions work, how our mind works. By the way, 91% of your mind is unconscious. 91% of how you create your reality is unconscious. And what do we know about our unconscious? Nothing. We do not know how we create our reality. And so mental wellness education will teach you self-awareness, who you are, how you create your reality, especially the reality you don't want. It will teach you how to feel good about yourself. When we ask most people how many people they know in their life who are comfortable in their own skin, which is the definition of self-esteem, most people will say somewhere between 2 and 5 people that they know. That is appalling. The vast majority of us are walking around not feeling good about ourselves at some level. And that has to change. And there is no good reason why we shouldn't, by the way. Then the other thing that we leave school without is that we are not sat down and guided through what we want out of life. Most adults don't actually know what they want. And the answer, by the way, is not more money. Money does not buy us happiness. Intuitively we know that, and the statistics tell us that. So we will help you through mental wellness education to find out what it is you want out of life. And when you are self-aware, you understand who you are, you feel good about yourself, you know what you want out of life, you are then self-empowered to go and live life on your terms. So Educate, partly through this YouTube channel, is creating a revolution. We are starting a revolution in mental health by teaching people mental wellness.